Ghost down the hallway, there's a presence, bedroom shadows, cloaked and haunting me, cold hand touching me, fear overwhelming me, tapping at my window. I can't bear to open my eyes, a breath on my neck, floating apparitions everywhere. Go to sleep with the light on, I wake up paralyzed. Ghostly apparition hovering over me, asking what it wants to know. I'm shaking now, it calls out my name, cloaked and haunting me, cold hand touching me, fear overwhelming me, tapping at my window. I can't bear to open my eyes, a breath on my neck, floating apparitions everywhere. Go to sleep with the light on, I wake up paralyzed.
A dreaded flag, a vengeful sea. Be careful what you say. There's always someone listening. The Dutchman tossed on the sea. I swore and the devil heard me. Now we're doomed to sail the seven seas for eternity. So yo-ho, let the ocean winds blow. The line forever we must tow. We sail through them, cursed and condemned. Yo-ho, let the ocean winds blow. A sinister grin across his face said, you'll be doomed to this place. The devil heard my oath, shame of my boast. Oh, a ghostly ship from the depths, freedom from fear is the only gift of death. Yo-ho, let the ocean winds blow. The line forever we must tow. We sail through them, cursed and condemned. Yo-ho, let the ocean winds blow. If you cast your eyes, you'll join us like those before. We're an omen of the ocean night. When you see the flying Dutchman, it's too late for your soul. To the waters we gave now our breath. Yo-ho, let the ocean winds blow. The line forever we must tow. We sail through them, cursed and entombed for 3,000 years, raft growing in me. I have lived an eternity, suspended in darkness. Release me. Time have run out. Curse fills the room. Curiously open my tomb. Rising from the cradle of death, my sentence has come to an end. Release me, release me, wasting and running. Release me, release me. My curse is your curse. Death is the gift I bring. Revenge in my hands. I feel no remorse. This is the mommy's curse. Release me, release me, wasting and running. Release me, release me.
Okay, folks, here, let's get started here. Okay, and I know a few people have complained as of late about the color on the names there. It is a little bit difficult to read. I understand that, and I forgot to voice that to Anthony, so your complaints went unheard. So sorry, but we'll get it next time. See what we got in the comment section. Who all is in here right now? See all you fine folks are showing up. That's good. It's good. Decided to comb my hair a little bit differently today. So we've had, I guess, I mean, we could say we've had some pretty good news this week, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've had a rough go of it in the last few weeks, for sure, the last few months. But yeah, it's picking out, it's getting better. And I'm sorry, I got to say something. There's this persistent rumor that keeps going around. I don't know where. I know who started it, and I'm not going to give him any credit for this because the guy is such a liar, but he's good at it. I mean, he's good at getting people to believe the nonsense. Folks, I have not been fired from my company. I don't. And one individual even called my business partner, who, you know who you are, and was like, hey, I want a job. Like, really, dude? Like, after everything, we're going to give you a job. Okay. Stop fishing for stuff. Just go, leave us alone. I mean, leave us alone. We have already had to I mean, it's stalking is what it is. It's just stalking. We just let us live our lives. Okay. That's all we want. We just want to live in peace. That's it. We want to be left alone. We don't want to fight. We just want to be left. We don't want to be Spider-Man and Venom. See, there's my shirt. Everybody's going to wonder what it is. There it is. I don't want to be, harassed. Oh God. But those people are in the minority for sure. For the most part, we have nice, intelligent folks who watch our show and who are a part of what we're doing and but you just have this element that and they're so damn obsessed. If you really could stop and look at yourselves and see just how absolute crazy you are. I mean, anybody who can put that much time and effort and energy into someone else's life, it's bizarre. You usually see this kind of thing with like a jilted lover. You know what I mean? Somebody who's been spurned or something by a lover. We were together at one time. Well, we'll always be together because I'm never gonna let it go. That it's usually that kind of thing. But these people, they act like we had some kind of relationship or something. Like, dude, go on, dude. Wonder how their spouses. I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Auntie? Do you think their spouses know that they spend all their time stalking us, or me in particular?
You're their dirty little secret.
Yeah,
you're their side piece. Their Sancha.
Yeah, they're just so because I know if my wife was spending all this time stalking someone, I would wonder. I'd be reconsidering the choices I made with her. I'd be like, what? Why are you so obsessed with this person? It's like Selena and her manager. That I hope this internet holds up. It looks like it's kind of going up and down there. Let's hope it does. You're right. They do, Lawrence. They want the wolf daddy. That's what they want. They can't have me. And they couldn't control me. So let's go around and spread rumors. See what we can get. Dude, just go away. See what you can do. All right. What's going on, Chris Kramer? I see you in the chat. Dorothy Metcalf. Her and her daughter work for us. Yeah, Dorothy, did you know that I've been fired, apparently? I don't know how that works. I don't. Nelly will be joining us shortly. Tony is working. He's on a tear right now. He's having to work a lot. We have one of our guards who's going to have to go back to Egypt because his mother is ill. So pray for him. And then we have another guard also who's a longtime friend of mine that I've known since 1999. And he fell, not at work, but he fell at his apartment or his place where he lives. He didn't live in an apartment, and he hurt himself, hit his head and his leg. And so he's not doing too good. So we can pray for him. He's out of the hospital, but he's got some issues. He's banged up and he can't work. So we can pray for him. And not much I can do right now until we close. And it looks like everything's gonna go on without a hitch. We're gonna close. Looks like everything is good. We're gonna be making the close and getting it done. I'm trying to find a hat that I want to wear. I don't know which one I want to wear. So wear the Raiders hat, even though I'm kind of aggravated with them because they suck. I'm not wearing the Cowboy. I'm on a Cowboys boycott until Jerry Jones is gone. Simple as that. You know, if you're not interested in winning and making moves to try to win, then I'm not interested in watching. Although I still stand by what I say, they do get screwed pretty regularly. And when you have that kind of very thin margin for error, you have to be a winner so that the refs can't take it away from you. And they have not done that. And I don't think Jones is the guy who's ever going to do that. And don't laugh, Chris, okay? Your team is up and down. And promise you, if you go to the Super Bowl, you're not going to win it. Because the league is in love with the Chiefs right now. And I don't care if anybody goes because they want the Chiefs. They want them to have that three-peat. They love Mahomes. They love that dude. They want him to be the heir to Brady. And so they're making it happen. I kid you not. So, you know, this internet's bothering me, man. It's really the internet connection is looking real iffy. So I'm kind of worried. If we cut out, don't bail. We're just going to hope that because it just keeps going down and then coming back up. Yes, Paula, I hope I did. I hope I followed proper protocol before I fired myself. I don't know. I mean, I've been with the company for 18 years, you know, and you know, I guess I just had enough of myself. So I said, you know what? This is kind of how it went down. I called and I said, can you sit down? And then I sat down and I said to myself, look, you've had a good run. We've been together for 18 years. It'll be 18 years January 1st. But just had enough of you. Had enough of your crap, your tardiness. You're too far up into this podcast of yours, and all you care about is YouTube. And you're just not. Your head is not in the game. You know, my business partner's there, and he's just like, you're right. We've had enough of you. And I look at him and I'm like, is this true? And he says, what you're saying to yourself is exactly true. Can't do it anymore. We have to let you go. Wow. Geez, that's hard, especially on some 70% of the business, dude. It's a horrible thing to be let go like that. And I'm totally bummed. I'm just, oh man, bought a house. What am I going to do? Sucks. So, folks, please give us money because we're broke and I just fired myself. So, if you could help us out, you know, hat in hand, please. Jeez Louise, man. But like I said, but donations are not expected, but they are appreciated. But you know, the PayPal is a good way to help too. I got to take a look at this on the internet and see if it's working correctly. Looks like it is. Yes, 86. Send money. Doesn't matter whether I ask or not. They're going to say I did. They're going to say I'm begging. They're going to say whatever they're going to say. They're going to run to Reddit when in between hits off their crack pipe and, you know, drinking their Pabst Blue Ribbon and say crazy stuff. Because these people they have a derangement syndrome. They really do. So, you know, nuts, dude. Waiting for some people to get in here. So what we're going to talk about tonight, as the name of the show, Reptilians and Dogman is going to be the topic. And we're going to talk. We have some stories. We have some really good stories we've gotten lately. Well, I mean, not all of them were from lately. A lot of them we had, and I just had to go. I had to go in and look and go, hey, these look good. I mean, there's some good stuff out there that are. You know, people are sending us, and so let me see what do we got because it was me and Nelly were going back and forth. We have one from two people. who are really good friends with a Border Patrol agent who were given a story by him. He's going to be anonymous because he works for the government. But a reptilian type creature that attacked, it happened a couple times at the border. So, and then I had another person who sent me a story. His name is Augustine, and he's from Ecuador. And he's got a story about a lake there in Ecuador where people have claimed to have encountered this reptilian. Thank you, Shade, for that donation. We appreciate it. It's like a crocodile man thing. I don't know what to call it. And then there was a woman named Gwen who says a story about her family in Australia whose cattle was attacked. And that's a weird story too. So we have all these different stories we can get into. That's a weird one. It happened in Alexandria. There's a huge cattle industry. A lot of people don't realize this, but Australia has probably the second most cowboys, if not the first. Us in the United States, us in Australia, where cowboys come from. So there's a lot of cowpunchers out there, and there's a huge cattle area there in Alexandria. This internet is jumping up and down, and I'm hoping that this thing, because it just keeps dropping. But it looks like it's not going all the way down, but it's making me nervous. It keeps showing that it's going out, but it's not on the show. It doesn't look like it's doing it. So just like I said, if it does drop or go out or stops, whatever, just be patient and we'll deal with it, because it just keeps showing me that it is. Thank you for that, Nikki. Nikki says, sorry, message guys. Coach Wolfsburg's Truth is our sports. The first live I've been able to watch as I live in the UK. We'll be watching every precious second. Thank you. I'm glad to have you here, Nikki. That's great. You've been a supporter for a long time. So while we have a few minutes here before we hit 300, I want to tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do a giveaway. Like we just mailed off 16 different people's things on Tuesday morning. So what we have going on here, and this is going to be cool. We were going to do a Patreon show today, but then I realized, okay, we decided not to, and I'll tell you why. And before you feel slighted, Patreon members, if you're a Patreon member and you're in the chat, show me that you're a Patreon member, because I want to know how many are that loyally show up, for the show. So if you're a Patreon member, please hit me up, right here. Show me that you are. Jamie Johnson says, I still never won anything. The way to win, Jamie, is to become a member. It's like a $5 deal, and it helps the show. And we do the giveaway on Sunday, typically. But we're going to do a giveaway tonight, and I'm going to do you one better. We're going to be giving away twice a week for the rest of this month and all the month of December for Christmas. And we're going to give away even more, okay? And I'm going to try and get some hoodies pumped out. Like we had to hold, we couldn't do anything because we were waiting to get, approved to get this house, and they just put you through the ringer. Okay. And so what I'm going to tell you right now is it's worth it to get the $5 membership, because you could be entered into the contest to win. And even if you've won before, if someone else is not there, they don't speak up quick enough, we're just going to start picking people at random. So, it's a great way to support the show. The Patreon is the best way to support the show. Jamie says, I want your books. Well, I can tell you how you can get those. If you're a 10, 20, 30, 40, or $50 tier member, or a Patreon member, and we'll put the link in the chat, what you can do is get a swag bag. So after 2 months of being a Patreon member, you get a swag bag, which comes with different tiers. If you're a $10 tier, you get a book from one of many different authors. Thank you for the donation, Shade. but you could also, there's more. Like we give away like keychains and stickers and all that. That comes with, that's standard. But if you're a $20 tier, okay, you get a shirt or a hat that goes along with it. A $30 tier, you get, what is it? You get 2 books, right?
Yeah.
2 books, a shirt, then you get like whatever, the other, all the goodies. And then the $40 tier, you get those 2 books and one of my autograph books. Right. And then you also get the shirt and the hat. Okay. And then on the $50 tier, you get all of that, but plus an extra book. Okay. And then you get a choice. If you want a hoodie, we typically give you the choice. Now, I went and I looked in the inventory in there. A lot of shirts, not a lot of hoodies. So here's the thing. If you are a Patreon member and you have been a Patreon member for 6 months, okay, I don't care if you've already gotten a swag bag or whatever. If you're a 6-month Patreon member, hit me up. We will send you a hoodie. Okay, while supplies last. It's going to be first come, first serve, because I think we have about 20 hoodies right now on hand.
Yeah, probably
About 20, and it depends on size. So if we don't have those, then you'll get one of these shirts or a different color if you want something else. These are the different styles. Now, what happened? Tony, in all of his wisdom, I don't know why he sits there, and I guess he doesn't pay attention or something. But here is the shirts, right? And then we have some that are in orange, and then this one has an orange logo and a red logo. And so there's these 2 different styles, but then there's different logos on them. And then I think there's a different color too. You know how this one is red? I think one of them has orange, doesn't it?
I think so.
Can you get one? See if you can find one. So only a couple people got those sent out. All right. So my guy that works over there at the place, liked the shirt, but there were only like 2 of them. So everybody just got like the normal shirts, not just the regular black, but we had blue, we had green, we had all these different colored shirts. And so he sent those out, and I'm sorry, I didn't realize that he had not. So he kind of dropped the ball on that. So the giveaways, you didn't get those shirts. So we decided to do this. This is what we're going to do. If you get a giveaway, it's going to be just the luck of the draw. Okay. But if you're a Patreon member, we're going to, anybody who signs up right now until the end of the year, if you sign up for the Patreon, okay, we're going to give you one of these shirts. And if you're a 6-month Patreon member, we'll give you a hoodie. All right. If you've been a Patreon member for 3 months, we'll give you a shirt or a hat, your choice. So hit us up, show us that you're a member, because we thought about it and we're like, if we do a Patreon show, we're basically going to be putting stuff behind a paywall. And we said we would never do that. So we're still going to try and figure out how we're going to do it. But once we get a big enough Patreon group, we are probably going to be doing a few little extra things for the Patreon members, not just the giveaways and the free stuff, whatever, but we're going to have to do something more, because Patreon is what supports the show. We can't depend on, the donations and whatnot, but memberships and the Patreon keep the show going. And we have to be able to do that. And there are things we got to do. We want to do some what do you call them? Investigations. And so the way to get that done is going to be through the Patreon. And so it just makes sense. So, but we like right now, we're still not going to try to put anything behind the paywall. So we didn't want to do a show where we just had like 50 to 100 people, and they just got to hear the content. We didn't want to do that. So we decided that if you're a Patreon member, like I said, if you're for 3 months, we'll give you a shirt. 6 months, we'll give you a hoodie, besides the swag bags. And I say bags because if you've been a member for 2 months, we give you, according to your tier, we give you a swag bag. Once you hit the 6 month mark, right, as a Patreon member, you get a whole nother swag bag. But I'm telling you right now, on top of that, if you're a 6 month member right now, you hit the 6 month mark, but only until the end of December. because supplies aren't going to last, we'll give you a hoodie. All right. So remember that. And then on the giveaways, we're going to do the giveaways again tonight. We're going to give away some of my books tonight. Right.
Yeah.
So that being said, we are also going to, if you sign up automatically, immediately, if you sign up at a $30 or up tier, okay, we're going to give those people one of these camo shirts. You're going to get it. So you're going to get that automatically. And then in 2 months, you'll get a swag bag. And then 6 months, you'll get another swag bag. So we're going to really take care of our Patreon people. Those people that are Patreon members, we're going to really take care of you. We're going to hook you up. Okay. And I want to do this because I appreciate the really loyal fans that put their hard-earned money into helping the show and helping us survive and keep it going. So that's what's going on. And so 86 says, I need a PRT hat for my bald head in the Aussie summer. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you. If you are from another country, now, if you're from Britain, I can get you a book from Paul Sinclair. That's all I can do because the shipping is so wild and expensive. But at the end of this year, we're going to try to do something where you can order merchandise and have it printed on demand. So that's going to help. But here's what we're going to do. If you're from another country, if you guys will split the shipping, you're going to have to pay for part of the shipping, which is way too expensive. And so if you're from another country and you want one of these giveaways, you win, split the shipping with me. If you split the shipping with me, I'll pay half the shipping, you pay the other half, and I'll send you your stuff. So that way, anyone from around the world, if you win, I don't care if you're in Malaysia, if you win and it's $100, if you really want it that bad and you're willing to pay the 50, I'll pay the other 50. I think that's fair, right, Anthony?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that will start, we'll start doing that at the first of the year. But we might do it around Christmas too. We don't know. We'll see. The internet thing is kind of going back and forth, and it's actually going out. It looks like
the stream is fine. I'm watching it.
Yeah. Okay. I just don't. That thing's making me nervous. So it just keeps ping ponging. So, anyways, yeah, that's what we're doing. So, hope you understand. Canadian shipping is very expensive. And so is in. So, if you're in Britain too, and I can just have Paul Sinclair send you a book. But I thought, you know what? That's just a book. We could still do that, I'll pay Paul for the book because his books are cool. But I still want to send you something. So if you want to split the shipping with me, I'll send you an email. Hey, this is what the shipping is, whatever, and I'll mail it off. And you just you split it with us, and PRT will cover the rest. We'll pay for half of it. Okay, because I want you to have your merchandise. I want people from all around the world to wear our shirts or whatever. And you can always go to the store and just buy one of these at the Patreon, at the PRT store. You don't have to wait around to win. You can always, because somebody asked me the other day, they're like, how do I get it if I don't win? I was like, just go to the PRT store and buy it. Do we have a link to that? And that's going to change too, because we're going to end up doing it exclusively through Seven Clay. I'm going to be talking to him tomorrow. And we're going to order a bunch of hoodies so that we don't run out of hoodies. So I just don't know how long that'll take to get that order done, probably by mid-December. But in December, we're going to be giving away hoodies too. All right. And especially for the Patreon members. So remember what I said. All right. 3 months, you've been a Patreon member. We'll give you a shirt. 6 months, we'll give you a hoodie. And if you're a new Patreon subscriber, automatically, right off the cuff, okay, if you're a $10 or $20 tier, I'll give you a hat or a shirt, your choice. And if you're a 30 to whatever and up, 30 and up tier, we'll try to get you a hoodie, but 100% guarantee we'll get you a hat, we'll get you a shirt, okay? And I'll throw in a book too. I'll throw in a book for you too. From one of our author friends. How many books do we have in there? I don't know if we're running low or not.
I think we got plenty.
We got plenty? Because I know a couple of those authors aren't worth a crap.
Yeah.
We found out about that. So if you're looking for farting or con prickler or farting, Conley, you're not going to get, I'm not going to give you those. Of course, we want you to have good stuff, not garbage. So didn't you do a Louisiana Gatorman Stopes some time ago? It was wild. Charles, thank you for that donation. I don't remember, dude, if there was one in Louisiana. I know there is one story that I'm dying to tell, and it's in Louisiana. And it involves a zombified creature. Two of them. One of them was from Florida, and one of them was from Louisiana, and those are zombie episodes. So I really want to tell those, and I want to do that show really bad. So hold me to my word, folks. All right. Email me, Josh Turner at prtpodcast.com. Josh Turner, prtpodcast.com. That's how you send me your stories, or you can send it to me through the 3 or 4 different Facebook groups and accounts that we have. Join the Facebook group. It's a good way to keep up with what's going on. All right, so everybody got it. You understand the giveaways. You got what's going on. So join the Patreon, and you'll get a prize right off the cuff, straight up. And you know, if you're, you know, a couple months in, then you'll get a swag bag. 6 months in, you get another swag bag. But if you're a Patreon member right now, you've been in for 3 months, I'll give you something. 6 months, I'll give you something even better. Okay, so hold us to that. Just email us, and when we mail off, we'll have it for you. We probably will do a Patreon show soon, so we could just keep up with everybody who's on the Patreon and talk to you, make sure everybody got their stuff, and just, you know, maybe do a Q&A. Like I said, I don't want to do a show and cut people out. I'm just not about that. I'd feel bad doing that, you know. Not everybody can afford it. And those that can, we really appreciate you carrying the weight and helping, because, you know, everybody deserves to hear it. I don't believe in putting things behind a paywall. So that being said, let's get started on the what we got going on tonight. So, I mean, I'm going to let the audience decide what they want to hear. We have this whole story that's going on. What we don't finish tonight, we can always finish on Sunday. How did everybody like the show last night? That was a weird one, wasn't it? The one with the disembodied,
Yeah.
demonic.
It was like a disembodied demon spirit thing, and then it only plagued him after he spilled this vile as black goo. So
Yeah, that's what inspired me to wear the Venom shirt today. I was
yeah,
the black goo, and I have like 3 Venom shirts, and I was telling Nelly, I was like, what do you think about this one? Because we just talked about the black goo yesterday. I haven't seen the new Venom movie. I don't know, but the black goo is it's weird, dude. It's a creepy, weird thing, and I've talked to a lot of other like YouTubers, podcasters, authors, researchers who are starting to come across this more and more.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the story. I mean, this isn't a real long one, so we could just start off with this one, right? And this is a Bigfoot story, but it's not real long. Like I said, it's not super long. It is with the person who had the encounters. But okay, so this person, they were living out near Caldwell. Now, you know, we've talked about Caldwell, about people having weird stuff out there. There was a guy that had a story on Reddit. And somebody sent it to me, and it was a guy who saw, I don't know this person. It was just a story that was put on Reddit. It's not mine. And he talked about seeing a pale crawler while he was riding in an ATV with his cousin, and it chased them. So you can, I don't know if you can go look that up or what. It was a few years ago when I read that, but this is crazy. And this person was out near Caldwell, and they were in a deer stand. Right. And on this person's land, and the woman that gave me this story, named Stella, she said this was back in 1997 when they bought the land. They bought it in 1994 or 5. I can't remember what year she said it was, but it was 1994 or 95. It was back when the Cowboys were good. Let's put it that way.
Long time ago.
Long time ago. So then she says, look, she's like, I bought this land out there, you know, out near Caldwell and Milano, this area out there. And she said that she had a deer lease, and she would let people go out there and go hunting. But she gave me a whole bunch of stuff, like a whole bunch of stories. And one of them, there was this hunter who went out there, and he was sitting out there, and he was from North Texas, and it was her brother's a longtime military buddy, Marine Corps, whatever. So this guy's an ex-Marine. He was a tough guy in the military for 6 years. And he was out there, and he witnesses this creature right at dusk because he's getting ready to get out of the stand, just walk out into the clearing. And it was for all intents and purposes, it was a Bigfoot creature. Like, it looked like a Bigfoot, exactly how you would think of as a Bigfoot. I don't want to get into a long description of it, but it was definitely a Squatch, and it had the ape face, whatever. And it was like it was scratching itself, and like it was doing all this, and it didn't care. It looked, and it saw him there, and it did not care that he was there. And then it started to cough. And as it did, this black sludge started coming out of its mouth, and this creature started pulling it out of its mouth. And he's like, I'm sitting here watching this. And he's like, and thank goodness, he goes, my brother, I was about an hour late. So my brother and my friend drove up in my brother's big old truck, and made the noise. And this thing was on hands on its knees, basically spewing out this black sludge. And then it took off into the woods. And he said that they went, they with weapons drawn, kind of, head on a swivel, walked out. And this is what they told the woman that gave me this, Stella. Her name was Stella. Stella was like telling me this story, and she's like, and she's older now. She's in her 80s, but she's still sharp. She's not one of those people that's like, I don't know where I'm at. She's not like, the president. No, she knows where she's at. And so this sludge was being, whatever. And he told me, he said, come here, let's go look, look at this. And they went over there and they looked at it, and they said it was bubbling up, and there was like this foam stuff on the outside of it. And they just, one of them didn't know what to do, so he took a stick and he kind of poked at it, and the other ones were looking around like, because it was a Squatch.
Yeah.
They didn't see it. Like, when they pulled up, it took off. But he was like, dude, it was a Bigfoot. It was a Sasquatch type creature. And when they started poking at it, whatever, it started to move around like it was its own entity. So some kind of, to me, it's like a parasite. I think that's what it is. And then somebody sent me some stuff about vampires. This is a weird thing. I'll read it on Sunday. Try to remind me, folks, on Sunday. And if we can, we get into some of the stuff that happened out on Stella's property. Golly, back in the 80s and 90s. She bought the property in the 90s and early 2000s. Weird stuff, crazy stuff. People seeing a lot of weird crap out there. And I got a friend that's a county sheriff out in Caldwell. And he said he's seen some crazy people doing crazy, whacked out meth heads just wandering around out in the woods. And people go missing. They'll go to the deer lease and just they'll find their vehicle and they'll never see them. So the woods is not a zoo. You go out there and you're at the mercy of whatever's out there. And I'm telling people, wholeheartedly, there are things out there that will unalive you. I mean, not just, coyotes and wolves and mountain lions. Last night, I didn't tell you this. Last night, guys, I was in the restroom, and I'm standing there, and I hear this, and I was shaving, and I heard this. I shave, yes, I do. I shave under hair. I don't like the neck beard thing, and I hear this, and I'm like, I kid you not, that 100% was a big cat, and then I heard, and I heard like. Not on the adjacent property, but the property over, the people back there, they have donkeys and some cows. And I heard a big cat. I heard it. And I opened the door and I told my wife, I said, hey, stop gossiping with Maddie. Get off the phone. Listen, woman, check it out. And she goes in there and she's like, and all we heard was a cat meowing. It was one of Paige and Richard's cats. I said, yeah, that's not what I'm talking about. She's like, it's a stray cat. I go, well, it's not a stray cat. It's our cousin's cat. You're wrong. See, you're always wrong. It's my cousin's cat. I was like, that's not what I heard. I heard a donkey braying, and I heard, it's not like an attack. It did.
Yeah.
And I'm not an alarmist. You know me. I've lived in the country, first 15 years of my life. I don't just go, oh, what's a spooky one? What's that? Oh boy, I'm scared. I'm not that guy. And my wife's like, are we done? I'm like, fine. Dude, it was like the Michigan frog, he just sits there and does it. And then it's like, since nobody's looking, he's like, everybody's doing the Michigan, right? He was, yeah. So she goes and sits back down, and I'm like, then I hear it again, like, and I'm like, I said, hey, it's doing it again. She goes over there and she's like, at this point, looking at me. I'm like, don't look at me, look outside, because that's where the sound is coming from. And she was like, I hear nothing. She's like, it's a cat. I'm like, no, it's a big, large, it's battle cat, or what was his name? The one that was the bad guy from Skeletor's cat. I think it was him. Panther was his. I said, no, I heard it. That's okay though, because I know what I heard. Okay. And it sounded like a big cat, and there was donkeys fighting and stuff. It just wasn't making the noise when Nellie would come in there.
Yeah.
I don't know why. But anyways, I'm not crazy. I'm like, there's a man on the wing. No, it was whatever. Anyways, I know what I heard. Okay. Yeah, it was a thundercat. Exactly, Chad. I don't know. So anyways, we got a story from somebody that was down in the border, right? This one's crazy. Let me pull up my notes here. Okay, so this comes from Shelly and Tommy. And Tommy's former father-in-law was a retired Border Patrol, but he still got connections with the Border Patrol down there. And I don't know if he should say Anthony got up. I don't know if he should say where it's at. It's let's put it this way. It's on the western Texas border. Let's put it that way. Out in a very desolate area. And the Rio Grande River runs through there, of course, because that's the whole border is just the Rio Grande River for Texas. And so Shelly messaged me and she says, hey, my husband, his ex-wife, who he's cordial with because they have children together. She's like, his ex-wife, her dad, who my husband's still good friends with, has friends on the border. They're Border Patrol agents, and they claim that there was a reptilian type creature that, get this, it looked like a dinosaurish looking creature because it had kind of like flippers, but it had no like Crocs and Gators have little or short legs. This thing didn't have legs. It had flippers and it had no like back legs. And so, well, let's see what it says here. Okay, I just screwed that up. Dang it, I'm stupid. I'm sorry, folks. I totally screwed that up. That's a different creature. This one was not that creature. That was the one in Ecuador. My bad. I'm sorry. No, this one was a reptilian type creature, and it was an upright type creature that stood about 7.5 to 8 feet tall. Okay. And it apparently, there may have been more than one of these. Okay. And what it was doing was snatching up people who were crossing the border. And whenever the Border Patrol people would catch them or whatever, they were getting reports, told not to talk about it, but that these things were, oh, awesome. You're so cool. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Why is it so light? You drank part of it. I get half a coffee here. I'm over here appreciating it, but that's okay. I don't know how I feel about that. Hold on, folks. Let me chastise this person. You know how I'm all rude and stuff. All right, now that I'm done disciplining her, you may sit. No, so my wife's here. So you're fired. Yeah, exactly. You're fired. She just fired me. I fired myself, and then I fired her. I also fired our cats and one of the what do you call it? The guinea pigs. The other one's still employed. So anyway, so this creature, one of the agents, okay, I don't know it goes by Jay. That's all I got was Jay. He was willing to say that much about himself. And he told Tommy's, this is the couple, he told Tommy's former father-in-law that this is crazy. This is real. Like, this really happened. This reptilian type creature was shot at. And I think they hit it, but it just went into the water and then stayed under the water and disappeared. So it is obviously a type of amphibious being. And according to the people that lived in that area, now across the other side of the border, there was a lot of Yatki Indian. And those people said that these creatures have been around for a long time and that they come out of the cave systems. And that these things have been reported. And now get this, according to what these people told me, the Big Bend National Park has a record of these things. Okay. So I have a report. I went through and I went to my archives and I got a report, and I can't take credit for this one. I don't remember who gave it to me. It was a story that was not given to me by the individual directly. It was either Ninocchio, I'm sorry, I don't even, or Albert Rosales, who's very cool. He's been forthcoming and helping Nelly and being cool. Shout out to Albert Rosales, a really good researcher. Or it might have been a report I got from one of Jody Cook's people or Nick Valenti. I can't remember because it just said on there, and I can't blame Tony for this one. I typed it. And it said on there, see other report file. I don't know what that is because my past self wrote some stupid crap. And I'm like, dang it. So I'm like, you ever been like mad at yourself from the past? You're like, what's wrong with that guy? Didn't he know I was going to exist at some point and I'm going to have to try to know what the hell? You should have been like, note to future self. You're a dumbass. No, you know.
You got to send gifts to your future self.
Exactly. In the typewrite drawer, there's a chocolate chip cookie. You know, you're like, oh, cool. Okay, I like my past self. And then you start reading that and you're like, I don't want this cookie. I don't even like you, man. And so I could not find the other, I don't know what file that the hell the former me was talking about, but it wasn't there. And so I looked everywhere and I was sitting there going like, what in the hell is this referring to? But so I don't know who to give credit to for this story, but I'm almost positive. I think it was one of these people. So shout out to them. But I'm leaning toward it was somebody from the NADP that worked for Jody. It's not important, but you want to give people credit where credit is due, right? And I'm going to be honest. I have told a few stories, and I did not give them credit like I should have. So I apologize for that to them. You know, and there were several other people too that's given me information, including David Weatherly, Ken Gerhardt, La Blackburn, Chad Lewis. Huh?
I've given you all the knowledge you have.
Yeah, you've given me everything. Sure. But so you have all of these people who deserve credit because they've all over them. You okay? Sorry.
I rolled my knee right into the
wow.
desk.
Let's quit interrupting with your pain.
Okay.
So there was a story that was given to me, and it was about the Big Bend National Park, and that there were basically agents that were there who had confronted two or more of these park rangers. I think it was a couple, maybe two or three, because somebody had gone missing, and I don't know the exact like date, whatever. It was like in 1989 or something like that. And these agents came looking for these beings, you know, like they were these pieces. I think they were like, you know, like not like Men in Black, you know, they weren't like robotic or whatever. These were normal people. Well, I guess if you're working for a gummy, you ain't that normal. But, you know, they had a report that these things were in the area, and they asked for the exact description of it. They found the person who had gone missing. They were badly dehydrated, and they chalked it up to them when they started talking about seeing these critters. I say critters. That sounds a little country. Creatures. The what do you call them? rangers, the park rangers, were like, "Holy crap! This person is talking about exactly what those men in black were asking about." And it was a large reptilian type creature. Now, I did look and I saw a report near Fort. Oh God, my brain's not even working right today, and I have the wrong fort down on here. That's not correct. Fort Davis. I put Fort Brown. That's down in the valley. My notes are all screwed up. So Fort Davis. So I had a report near Fort Davis, and it was a person from Alpine who was going to Sul Ross, which is the college there. And he was like, "Hey," he's like, went to school at Sul Ross. It was 1992, and he said, "I was driving to Fort Davis, and I see this reptilian type, well, two of them, eating what looked like a deer on the side of the road. And then one of them stood up, and as we drove by, it was sitting there like holding like the haunch in its hand and was just kind of like standing there like this. And they looked like reptoid looking creatures, individuals. When this person got to the Fort Davis, and the reason they were going to Fort Davis, Bal Maria, the Springs, they talked to the hotel clerk there from the early 90s. All right. And I've been out there many times. My grandpa and grandma used to live out there. This is out near Marfa. Okay. The Marfa Lights, all that. And then they have the McDonald Observatory. If you've never been, it's a really cool place. And you should go on a Friday when they have the star parties where you can use the telescopes. It's freaking awesome. So shout out to those people. And I've met some of the workers that are really cool. Anyways, it was crazy. This person, he sees this. I think he says his name was Chuck. In fact, I know it was. The report says it was Chuck. Was the guy's, huh? What's up?
I was clearing my throat.
Oh. So when they were driving by, they saw these two reptilian-looking creatures. Now, here's the description of them. And it matches the description of the report that I read from the park rangers at the Big Bend National Park. And I'll tell you why this is important, because it all ties together. They had smooth heads. They had the scales, like very stick-looking large scales on their body, very big chests, large shoulders, broad shoulders, big arms, muscular arms, and these weird feet, and the feet go down and they looked almost like webbed, and they had this long, thick gator or croc looking tail that came down off of the body. So these were tailed, standing up, 7.5 to 8 foot tall. The person, Chuck, and he had a passenger with him. I don't remember. There was a woman. And so saw these creatures standing on the side of the road with what looked like a deer carcass. And they just stared at him as he drove by. Now, I don't think most of these reptilians are primitive. But you got to remember, like, even the ones that are like abducting people and they're working with grays, and sometimes you'll hear about them with the mantis type creatures or even dogman type creatures, and they're doing like alien abduction work, right? And these things will communicate with people. It stands to reason that, like, if humans can be really smart and really intelligent, but then there's dumb ones, there's primitive ones. There's people who still live like, in what is it called? I forgot the name of the country. The country, Anthony, you remember that place? You watched a video about it the other day where that Rockefeller moron went out there and was like, "Oh, I'm going to buy this totem," and they ended up eating him. What is?
Oh yeah,
Papua New Guinea was Papua New Guinea. Okay, so there's an island right out there in Papua New Guinea where the people there are so primitive that if you pull up on a boat, they'll start throwing spears at you and shooting arrows, because they don't know anything about, they think that and anybody could just go up and start shooting them. I mean, but nobody wants to do that. So they just kind of leave them alone. But they're very, very just like primitive, and so this could happen. It's Sentinel Island. There's actually probably a couple, 3 different places like that. I forgot what they're called. The Piaroa down in the Amazon are the same way. some of the groups down there, they don't know people. And when they encounter these people that are working in the rainforest, working hard to destroy it, they'll be like, what are these people? These people will shoot arrows and stuff at them. It also happened to a guy who was working on a telephone line at Cato Lake. A Native American guy in a loincloth, two of them went up, and one of them shot him in the leg. It happened like in 1987. This is crazy, man. Like, so these people, so my point though is that these beings could be a very primitive type of reptilian that kill and eat whatever they can find or catch, and that they live in that Chinati Mountain area. Okay. So I think this is real. I think that, people, you can say whatever you want about me. They think I'm crazy anyway. Who cares? Okay. I've been called every name in the book. Like, oh, Josh Turner, boy, he's weird. He believes in all this dog people, wolf people, whatever, I even heard he believes sometimes politicians tell the truth. That's a hard one. I've been really criticized for that. No, it's crazy though, because you get these reports and then somebody says, well, how do you reconcile, these reptilians being like, really intelligent, and then now they're just running around and snatching people up? There's Bigfoot that people claim pilot UFOs, right? And then other ones are just walking around picking up rabbits and wiping their butt with them in the woods. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like it gets really convoluted, but there are people doing that. There are people like you could drive around to anywhere in America and find somebody living out in the middle of nowhere, and they probably don't even know what the year it is. They've been living out there off the land. And not to take away from anybody that does that, but, like we live out in the country, but you go into town, right? I mean, right? I mean, you still got to deal with with humanity and civilization. I'm here doing this. I'm doing this bullshit, wasting my damn time. Talking to ungrateful people who aren't giving me donations. Piece of crap. They take sound bites. Look at him. Look at what he was saying. They take it out of context every time. They love to attack. Let's give them something to talk about. Huh?
He's abusing his listeners.
Abusing the listeners, exactly. Say hi, Nellie.
Hello, Nellie.
Wow. That's all you're going to
Hi,
get.
paratroopers.
So what ends up happening, I'm thinking like, what if, and this is just a what if. Okay. And then we'll get into it a little bit further down the road. These beings, what if they were originally part of some amazing like civilization or something, and then they got left behind? You know what I mean? Or they broke away. What if they were part of like some alien race? This is just a hypothetical. I'm not saying I believe this. Okay. And then just hypothetically, like, what if they were a part of some sort of alien race, and then they got separated from the rest and just went feral? Or what if they were part of a scouting party originally, came and they radioed, they're like, Nanu, Nanu, and nobody came. And then they're like, oh, well, time to start eating the inhabitants. Some are on 4 legs, some are on 2. They all taste great with a little bit of barbecue sauce. I mean,
They're like the extraterrestrial versions of the Chinese. Just eat whatever moves.
Yeah, a pangolin.
Yeah.
They don't care. A penguin. Penguin.
If it
the
moves
Joker.
and it has a pulse, we'll eat it.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't have if we just find it dead. I mean,
Yeah.
food, whatever.
Whatever. They don't care. They'll eat whatever.
People get, I mean, like, all the jokes aside, though, like, I think people give aliens or like alien life forms like too much credit sometimes, like in certain ways, because they're subject to error too. Like these are not perfect beings. They're just because they're like a lot more intelligent than the average human. That doesn't mean that they don't make mistakes, and that doesn't mean that they're not going to have like turds amongst their own population, dumb ones. Or like insurrections, rebellions, I mean, these things are going to happen too. These are not perfect beings.
Yeah. So Amy's giving us an excuse why she can't donate. I'm so broke. 2 cars in the shop and Seamus coming.
Well, see, that's where you
Seamus
That's where you messed up, Amy. 2 cars.
2 cars.
You need to sell one. You only need one. You sell one of them. So, and then you give the money to PRT.
PRT, so we can entertain you while you're broke.
No excuse. No excuse.
And then Seamus, if I'm correct, you remember the Planet of the Apes movie with Mark Wahlberg? He was their god, Seamus. So he's coming? Is he in that religion? Does he return? Is he like a big monkey that comes back? I'm joking. I know what she's saying. I'm kidding, Amy. I just wanted to put you on the spot for making horrible excuses like that instead of just giving. Yeah, here. What if Earth is aliens Australia for the bad guys? Exactly. What if they're like, one of these aliens, Zortok, you have messed up many times. And they're like, I have. Like, even now, you're holding the wrong tool. Like, oh, shoot. I was combing my hair with this. Is this Zortok? We don't have hair. You're lying. We're an alien race of reptilians who must conquer the universe. Why are you such a screw up? We're sending you to Earth. Earth? Where is that? It's a miserable backwater planet on the edge of the solar system of whatever. And then,
that's where they send their failures.
The humans call it the Milky Way. What is Milky? We don't know for sure. We think it comes from bovines.
But it is
way
the way.
being way out there. And you're going. And Zortok's like, dang it. I shouldn't have smoked so much of that
space weed.
Space, ganja. And now Zortok is here. And he's still a screw up. But now he's running around with his family, all inbred and shit, and they're eating us.
Yeah.
And he's like, Morgan, don't do that. What was that, Dad? That's your 3rd helping of human this week. We're going to be in trouble. Haven't you seen the agents that protect the demarcation lines here? They don't want those people from over there coming over here. Okay? You can't kill and eat the ones in uniform. Well, I'm sorry, Dad. I wasn't sure. Gosh, damn 3-eyed children. Good grief. This is what I get for breeding with my co-pilot and then finding out she's my sister.
You can only eat the dirty ones with tattered clothes. No one cares about
Nobody
them.
cares about those. Yeah.
There's plenty of them in the cities.
Free range humans.
Those ones taste bad. Yeah. Shade by
Bartertown.
Who run Bartertown, Zortok? Well, it's definitely not my stupid 3-eyed kid or his grandkids, really, because they'd all be inbred,
Yeah.
They just, his tail's not even touching the ground. What's wrong with this one?
They're the Habsburgs of aliens.
Habsburgs and aliens. So, yeah, exactly. What's up, Rivas? Rivas got a show, Codex of Curiosities. Check it out. Rivas, we're the last planet on the left. Yeah, exactly. We're like, lock your doors, folks. Nothing to see here. It's this vicious backwater. So, I mean, my point, though, all jokes aside, that what if that is what's going on? I'm not saying that that's 100% what's happening. I tried something new with my hair today, and you see it ain't working.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with that. I accept it.
I mean, I didn't notice that something wasn't working.
Well, the weirdos that obsess over me will be like, look, one of his hairs out of. He's a satanic. I told you. He's one of them satanikists. Look at his hair. It's out of place.
Yeah, I figured that I'm normal.
Yeah. Master Blaster runs Marty. Exactly, Manny. Everybody knows Master Blaster runs that shit.
Yeah.
Who
ran Bartertown?
So, Bubba, what do you say? They should live off water and the trees. Yes, exactly. That's it. You don't get to eat. But they're not going to. They're going to eat up everything. They're going to eat up all of us. You know what I mean, right? They're going to attack us all. We're. So what ends up happening? So Zortok and his family are there, and whoever, Chuck, I think that was his name, drove by going to Fort Davis, to Balmaria Springs, sees them, at night, and he's like, "Well, what the crap?" Well, that report lines up, and I think that one came from, like I said, Albert Rosales. And then I'm thinking that the one from the other one was from Josh. I think the one that was from the reports from the Big Bend National Park. Okay, so if you look at the Big Bend National Park one where they had, because that is a, what do you call that, the national forest or whatever the hell, you know, and that's where a lot of these things are. I'm not trying to scare people. Like, okay, where you go on vacation at? And like Smoky Mountain. You know, and then they're like, okay, well, should I go to Yellowstone? And they're like, oh, what about the Redwood Forest? Okay. I don't know. I'm just saying, I wouldn't take my animals there.
Kind of dicey.
Oh, you're taking people with you. Well, I wouldn't even take my guinea pigs in. You know, they're just like, well, where should I go camping?
I mean, I can name some people you can take with you.
You're like, nowhere. Don't go to any national parks. Don't go in your backyard. Just stay in your bathtub like this, right? Just be with a blanket.
Stay in a room with no windows.
That's it. Hold your breath and swim.
And one fluorescent light bulb.
That's it.
It flickers.
I mean, you can't. Yeah, flicker. You can't be like you got to live your life.
Yeah,
you got to live your life. You can't be terrified. You know, like I avoided the woods as much as I could, but I guess I was lying because when I went back and I started looking at all the times I actually did go out of the woods, I was like, I actually went out in the woods quite a bit, even though I was scared. Because seeing the Dogman, you're like, you know, it's probably not a good idea. But knowing what I know about them now, you're probably more likely to be running into one near a cemetery.
Yeah.
In town. You know, and there's a cemetery not far from where I saw the Dogman, St. Mary's Cemetery, and I'm going to go there to that cemetery and show you guys. We'll show you exactly where I saw the Dogman. We're gonna do since we're living out there, we're gonna do a show where we're gonna show you and then drive and show you how close the cemetery is. Because my friend who saw it with me was like, didn't you say that these things are like near cemeteries? Well, the cemetery is right there.
Yeah.
And I was like,
just a hop, skip, and a jump away.
Huh. Why have I never brought that up before? I have no idea. Because I didn't think about it. I can't think of everything. Y'all got to help me some. Come on. I'm a genius, but I'm not. I mean, even geniuses need a little help.
Do they? Bless you.
Well,
I should have known about the cemetery in our hometown.
Especially a humble one like me. Mad genius, know everything.
Massive genius.
Look at Shane. What's up, Shane? Shane from West Coast Dogman Project. I haven't seen you around lately, buddy. So newly minted. I think you're a newly minted officer, aren't you? Like, pretty cool. You got. So be careful.
Congratulations.
Don't be messing around. We'll make them come get you. Put you in some cuffs. No. So what ends up happening with these border patrol? So allegedly, I got to say allegedly because I don't know for sure, but this is what I was told by Shelly and Tommy, and their father-in-law. Well, his former father-in-law, you know, used to be a border patrol agent, and he said that these people told him, like, they literally shot at these things because they were being told by some of the people that they were catching coming across, and one of them was running, you know, and they ran out there, you know, in the SUV and stopped them, picked them up, whatever, and they were running toward them to try to get their attention, and like, hey, you know, one of his family members was snatched up, and the description was absolutely a large, tall, reptilian type being that, you know, was from like your nightmares. You know, the way that those beings were described was like a smooth, rounded head with, like, you could see the scales all over the body, but this big, same thing, barrel chested, and looked very much like the ones from the ones that were encountered near Fort Brown. And so that, to me, speaks volumes because you have these reports of these beings doing what they do, grabbing people, snatching people up. And they're large. And obviously, you know, people always say when something eats a person, they're like, it's a cannibal. A cannibal is something that eats its own kind. Like, this tiger is a man-eating cannibal. What?
Yeah, I like to throw
What the
that
hell
word
are you
around.
talking about? That thing's not a cannibal. It's just eating another tiger. But people do that, though. They'll say things are cannibals, and that's not,
Mhm.
Like they say Bigfoot is a cannibal. Bigfoot's not a human. So eating a human is not cannibal. It's gross. So Chad, what did Chad say? Last time I'm asking, did it have anything to do with the moon? Who's he talking? What's he talking about? Okay, about the moon. That's a good point right there. You've seen ghosts, and it makes you think, hey, if this can exist, what else can exist? There's a whole lot of stuff. Look at Salem Nemesis. That's awesome. She's going to give us that $85 she just won. Cool. Thank you. We appreciate that. We'll take that. We don't take check or money. I'm going to have you go ahead and send it to the PayPal. Put the PayPal link up there, Anthony, for Sailor Nemesis to give us that. We appreciate that. We would like, I'm losing weight rapidly, folks. I would like to eat sometime this week, if that's okay with y'all. I mean, is this okay? If it's okay with y'all. All right.
You can always not send that money if you want to be responsible for us starving.
You see, if you can look over at Anthony, look at him. He looks like Starving Marvin from South Park.
Yeah, especially with this. Let me cover myself. You see this black makes me look real thin, and I am. I lost weight. I'm hungry because he takes my food. So.
Oh yeah, right. This guy. Don't put anything in the fridge and then expect it with him and my brother around. Though we were joking, Sailor. Keep your. Well, we appreciate the whatever, but I'm saying, we don't want the whole 85, just 90% of it. So we'll wait for you to give us the rest.
We'll settle for $84.99.
We'll settle for 80. I'm nice. I'll settle for 84. Let's keep $1.
You're spoiling these people.
I know. Right? But hey, we're nicer than the reptilians that are snatching them up and eating them. Damn peckerhead son. But so thank you for that donation, Jerry. We appreciate that. In my estimation, I think that these things, I think they're living in probably a cave system, and it's probably I'm going to say in the mountainous area under the mountains. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Underground.
Yeah. Because there is a little known passage of water that juts off from the river and goes underneath those mountains. There's like and when it rains, it gets pretty, and it dumps back into those caves, and people don't know that. I know that because I've been out there. I've been way the hell out there with my grandfather. Damn near got us killed, lost, because he was like, well, I know my way, and he's like, getting older and in his 50s at that point, but he was a heavy set guy and still try to act like he was 30, and it was like, come on, dude. And I kept saying, Papa, we're going way out here, but you got to also remember, this is a man that chased a mountain lion up a tree with a hatchet. He doesn't have he was.
Then he told you to stay there and watch it while he goes.
Tell that story.
You tell it way much better.
Okay,
way
look,
much better.
she's heard the story. So my grandpa, we were out there at the Rio Grande Valley, down there in that area. Thank goodness we didn't run into the reptilians, but a mountain lion came up to the cabin. My grandpa owned a little piece of land in the cabin out there. And my grandma used to love to go fishing in the Rio Grande right there. It was good fishing because there was kind of like this area where they'd kind of get caught up, and when the water would get low, they'd get trapped right in that little area. And it was just, you could almost pull them out of the water.
Yeah.
But it was kind of far down, like, it was on the bank, it was kind of a far, but you could see the fish right there. It was a good spot. And the trees, it was so thick with trees on both sides. It was like, almost like it was dark. I loved it. It was cool as a kid. And one time I made the mistake of jumping down into the water and trying to grab the fish. And then my ass was like 8 years old. I couldn't climb back up the bank. So I was holding onto roots. And my grandmother out of sheer love for me, she pulled me. I don't know how she did it. She was, not
Adrenaline.
she was frail, not a big, strong woman, and she still managed to pull me up out of there, And my grandpa was pissed. He was like, "What in the hell is wrong? What, you stupid little son of a bitch?
This one's
What the
broken.
hell would you think why would you just like your dumb daddy? Dumb as shit. Always reading books." Like, he would say that crap.
So you're never gonna learn anything.
Y'all know my grandpa. Y'all know my uncles and aunts. Y'all have heard them talk about him.
Yeah.
I mean, he would talk about how stupid me and my dad were for always having our head in a book. Dumb little retards, always reading books, stupid shit. My dad's like, "I'm an electrical. I don't give a crap what kind of engineer. You're just stupid." Like, okay, all right, dude.
Yeah, but he did so many other fun
I'll read at a
adventurous
second
things.
grade level and I'm fine. I eat asbestos sandwiches. What's wrong with you? I love the man, but he was his own way of thinking. So anyway, yeah, but he was, like Wild West man. He was born way too late. He should have been born back in the wild Wyatt Earp days. He'd have been back there doing something. I don't know. But so that in my grandfather, there was a mountain lion that came up and it attacked his burrow, and my grandfather loved that animal. He didn't do nothing with it. He just had it, and he had a dog named Juanita and a burro named Juanita. Now, who the hell names this animal?
We should have named Beans Juanita.
So he has Juanita, and he goes, "That damn cat came at Juanita." And so he runs after it, and I run behind him. I don't know what we're chasing. Then I see the mountain lion, and he's chasing it up the freaking tree. Then he's kind of flustered, so he tells me to hold the axe while he goes back to the cabin to get the gun. And I'm like, I'm 9, dude. I'm not going to fight this thing. That's a male. You can see its balls. I'm like, that's a male mountain lion up there, okay? And it's pissed, It was a large animal, probably 250. I would say, from estimations, from looking back. And he goes, wait, no, I'm going to go get the gun. Or no, you go get the gun. Go get the rifle. And I'll be running and drop it and shoot yourself. But run. Well, now that you said not to shoot myself, I'm not going to. I was going to run, drop it, and blow my freaking chin off. But thank goodness you told me not to go ahead and run with the gun that's loaded. But not to shoot myself, because that was my plan all along, Papa. Sorry.
It's like when you tell someone, "Don't fall, don't fall."
Or slow
Really?
down when you're falling. When they're
I had
falling.
other plans.
When you rub that razor blade across your arm, don't cut yourself. Don't cut yourself. I'm telling you, you little dummy. So anyway, I run back over there, and he's like, "Oh, it's gone now." I was not gone that long. He said, "That some bitch jumped off and ran into the river, blah, blah, blah." So anyway, he wanted to kill. He threw his axe at it. But I'd never seen a grown man chase a mountain lion. But I guess when you weigh 400 pounds and you can run like, Earl Campbell, he could run for a big dude, short distances.
Yeah.
I know, because he'd catch me. He spanked me with my plastic sword. I had one of those lightsabers, from the Return of the Jedi, but they didn't fold or anything, He spanked me with that. And it was more of just like me crying so that he would not figure out that it wasn't hurting, because then he'll get something worse.
Yeah.
My dad hit me so much that my grandpa actually kind of refrained from doing it too much, because he felt bad, because he knew my dad was, the way he was. So my grandpa didn't spank me very much. But if he did, I cried, because he was a big, strong, scary guy, and I didn't want to get hurt for real. So he would just barely go to hit me. I'd be like, okay, like already screaming. He's like, "I barely touched you." Yeah, but I'm hurting. I'm hurting down there. Don't hurt me, please. So just get away with it. So this guy, we were out there and we found this water that ran up from the Rio Grande, and it was unnatural. The water, okay, get this, it should have been flowing, because the Rio Grande was kind of up. This was a slope. So the water was flowing like upward into the mountainside, which was weird to me. I don't know. To this day, it was like a bizarre thing. And it was like, it looked like somebody had made it that way, like dug it out to where the water would flow, And then years later, I went back when I was like a teenager. I think it was like 18 or 19. And I went hiking there with some friends, and the water was not the way I remembered it. It was coming out from underneath that mountain and going into the Rio Grande. And I couldn't be bothered to even find it now. I know that some friends of mine went there a few years ago, and they said that there was a spring there that used to be that's dried up now. So I don't know. It could be a Mandela effect. We here at at PRT know that there's a lot of weird stuff. Things don't always, and the Mandela effect is a very real thing. Okay, very real thing. And so things change. And so when you're a kid, you're like, "Oh, I remember it." It could be memory, but it could also be the Mandela effect. So I don't know. If you go out there and you don't see what I saw, it's also a huge place, but you may not be in the right place, or it could be gone, or it could be dried up. I don't know. But I remember finding it with my grandpa, and he was one of those people like he drank out of it. And I'm like, not really that thirsty. I'm like, nah, I'm good. He's like, we may not have water for days. I'm like, well, I'll just ride Juanita. No, you ain't. You got legs. Why are we carrying this donkey around that doesn't do anything? And then he would feed it elote. Like if he had $2 and there's between me and the donkey's going to eat I'm just going to have to sit there and watch her eat. Because he was an animal lover big time, dude. Like he loved animals. Like he was really mad because he found out that my dad had dumped off a little group of, what do you call them? Stray cat kittens.
Mm-hmm.
My dad had just, not thrown them in the water, whatever, but like left them somewhere, So my grandpa went out there in the woods and looked for them for like a day and a half. I know, because he drugged me along. We found 3 of them. We found them. And one of them clawed him so bad. He just like chunked it off.
Oh my God.
It hurt it. I had to go and find it and pick it up, and it was all, it was a mean little bastard. And my grandpa was like, I don't like that one. I'm like, well, yeah, it clawed the shit out of you, but whatever. He liked you until he didn't. Anyway, so when you get these stories though, so if it's to be believed what Shelley and Tommy were telling us, that there are these reptilians. Now, here's another thing. Tommy has a first cousin. Okay. His wife worked as a dispatch for a local police department in that area. I'm not going to get into the name of the town because she may still work there. But get this. They were fielding like a massive amount of UFO reports. And it was happening between the years 1998 and 2001. There was a bunch of them in that particular county. And she was the dispatch, and he goes, his wife was getting them. I didn't speak to her or him, but these people were telling me that there were these reports, and something like, but between the years of 98 and 2001, get this, there were over 50 reports, 50. Right? To the point where there was a military vehicle that showed up one day with some guys that were all wearing black uniforms, and they were looking for the county sheriffs to give them some information. And she claimed that was way above her pay grade. And they went out there, and then they met up with Border Patrol and park rangers. Yeah. And they went to a particular area. That's why I brought up the springs, where there was water. Right? Because someone had claimed that they had found some bodies, like people, body parts. I would say these would probably be Mexican nationals. And so they went out there, and this was in 2001, and then the flap stopped after these military people showed up. So try to wrap your mind around it. If you're thinking about it, you're like, what if these people, these men, let's just call them men in black. These were actually men in black BDUs. BDUs are the uniform we wore, that they wear to go and do.
Like the tactical pants and the,
Mm-hmm.
With
you wear them in the military
pockets.
or whatever, or if you're a contractor, right? Somebody who worked for them. A lot of times we'll wear those without the insignias. Sometimes they'll just have like a weird, like a lightning bolt or some kind of weird insignia to show that you're a contractor working, whatever. So these people didn't have any insignias on, right? They just had a number designation with a gray patch on the black, according to her. When this happened, now what if, hypothetical here too, they go out there and then they say, hey, you know, they talk to their, what is that? I keep hearing this vibrating, whatever. You know, they talk to their connection. They say, hey, you know, knock it off. Stop showing your ass. You know what I mean? You're getting us in trouble. You're making us look bad out here. Because there is, and I believe this is true, there is a fifth column of human beings. Do you know what that means? That means that there are human beings who willingly work with the ultra, extra, whatever you want to call them, terrestrials, whatever it is you believe. And they actually, some of them are clones. I'm going to tell you this, and you're going to think I'm crazy, okay? But it's coming out now that a lot of these people who were in the entertainment industry, they were grown as clones. It is the truth. In fact, there was one rapper, it went viral. He was talking about being a clone. He was like, I was cloned in Canada. And people think, oh, well, this is crazy, man. I don't believe in this weird conspiracy stuff that you're talking about, man. You know, I'm just not that person. I don't believe it. I mean, I don't give a crap what you believe. You don't believe me. Don't believe me. One day, this will all 100%, 110% still be a conspiracy theory. I'm just saying, okay? But I'm serious about that, all right? I'm tired of messing around. 100% still going to be a conspiracy theory. I ain't scared to say it.
I might lose friends for this, but I prefer my opinion over yours.
I may lose friends for this, but this cup is red.
Stunning and brave.
I took a stand. I took a stand. Is that worth a donation? No? To hell with you then.
I have no strong feelings one way or the other, and I don't give a damn who knows it. Somebody's got to say it.
You know,
right.
People who do that too. They get all hyped up, and they're like, I don't care if there's a woman in charge. I don't care if there's a man in charge. I don't care if anybody's in charge. Like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
You had me going when you were like headed in that direction of being chauvinistic and whatever, or racist, whatever ways you're going to do. I'm listening going, yeah?
At least I thought you were being genuine.
You going to come out and be honest about yourself? No, you're still going to lie. Never mind. You're not going to tell the truth. You're not going to tell what you are. You know, I thought you were going to come out and be honest that you're a communist turd, but you didn't do it. Or that you're a bigot dickhead. No, you didn't do it. Get out of here. Nobody wants to hear. It's me and Nelly. I'll put the camera on you too. I'm gonna put you on the spot. The other day, me and Nelly, you know, because we're not sociopaths. We care about some people.
Just kidding.
You're like, when did that start?
Yeah.
Nobody told me.
I can't keep up.
I didn't get that memo.
So we were pulling out, though. We heard, like, and we're like, you know, you're sitting there going like, and then it doesn't happen, and we look at each other like, they ain't even.
We were gonna see something cool.
They ain't even nobody wrecking, man. Get out of here. Stop squealing your tires if you're not gonna wreck. Not that I want it to happen to me. I'm just saying, if you're willing to do all that and drive them little fast cars, and you know, you need to wreck at least every now and then. Let us see it. And Dane Cook made a joke about it. He's like, everybody's all like, "Oh, you just missed it." It's human nature.
Yeah.
You see, like, "Oh, that car almost hit the car." It just kept going, and just a little part of you is kind of disappointed because you at least wanted to see the fender bender to see how it would look spinning around, you know. But 95% of me is like, I want everybody to be okay. But then part of me is like, what if that person is really just not a good person? And, you know, maybe they should be just, you know, laying in a hospital bed, you know, depending upon who they voted for. I'm joking, folks. I do not think that about them. Sort of losers. I'm just saying. It's just what it is, right? I'm just joking. It's them's jokes, folks. Them jokes, all right? But I really believe that what was going on, I think that these people that are involved in this Some of them are clones. This is me. This is my opinion. I'm entitled to be crazy as hell on here. Right? It's my show. Like I said, I could roll around the floor like a dog if I wanted to.
Do it.
Why I would do that and have you video it, I don't know, but I could do it. Okay. But think about it. There's an alien, more than one alien race of beings that look just like us. They're not from here. I promise you that is the truth. I don't care if you believe it or not. That is that part is 100% true. And I was joking earlier, but I'm telling you, one day, and maybe soon, this is going to come out, and you're going to be like, "Oh, Josh Turner wasn't full of crap. Let's go back and watch his show again. Stop watching this garbage these people are doing." And I'm going to be like, "No, don't come back. Do not come back. You left me when I told you that crazy shit. Why didn't you just stay with me? Why?" So now that you've left in that skit, don't come back. And that skit's closed. You can never come back and, make believe people. But no, I really think that it's going to come out. And I think at some point we're going to get to the bottom of some of this. But I think a lot of it's already there. People just aren't paying attention. I mean, there are people that'll say crazy things, and they'll be like, the government's never said anything about you. If I had somebody the other day argue with me, of course, you're at Walmart. That's not the best place to argue with somebody about anything. They're just there to rummage through cheap Chinese goods. They don't care.
Right.
I'm just saying. And this person was like, "They've never said anything about aliens." And I was like, "Yes, they have." And they're like, No, they haven't. And I was like, "Yes, they have." And I started arguing with this person that I really shouldn't have been arguing. What are you doing with the tiny hand? Come on.
I was listening.
So the person just continued to argue, whatever. And I just was like, you know what? So I left Nellie there. I'm like, look, she just had to stay. She didn't want to believe me about the aliens. I'm just joking. It wasn't her. It was somebody that worked there. And there was a person that had a shirt and said, "I believe."
You do now.
I was standing there like, I believe I shouldn't have to check myself out. And then when it messes up, call the lady. "Hey, Miss Lady Woman, hey, can you come? Because my thing's messed up." She's like, "Again?" I'm like, "What do you mean again?" She's like, "This is the fourth time." I'm like, "Has it been 4 times already?" Then I was like, "Okay, sorry, I stand corrected. I didn't realize it, but the fruit is really screwing things up." And then she's like, "That's what I learned." She's like, "You shouldn't be buying fruit from us. It's all genetically modified." And then I was like, "Oh, I'm talking to myself. This
So are
person
we.
doesn't even really exist." And I'm actually sitting in my living room.
Shouldn't have taken that acid.
And then you're like, dumb. I got to go to work. What am I doing? Sitting there like, harassing somebody by the pool because it's after hours. You're like, "Aren't you cold being here by this pool?" Somebody walks by and they're like, "Sir, you're talking to a palm tree." Oh, I knew that. I knew that. I was practicing for you. What are you doing out here? What are you doing out here? See, that's what happens when you take that. Just messes your whole world up. And then you harass palm trees, But it's good practice for when you got to harass someone else, like a skateboarder or someone else menacing. I just look at it like this. I think at some point it's all going to come out. And I think that eventually we are going to know the truth because, like the lady at Walmart who did not even know that they had some disclosure, but disclosure will eventually, I think it will happen. It has to. But now get this though, are they ever going to come out and say, "Oh yeah, by the way, some of these reptilians were munching on y'all"? That's never going to happen.
The ones in the underground of Las Vegas.
Yeah, where there's the water.
Yeah, because isn't there a bunch of water underneath
There
Las
is.
Vegas?
They've been
They're
eating the homeless
what do you
down
think?
there.
Somebody said something one day at the casino I worked security at, and they were like, "Where does all the water come from out here?" And I was like, "Deep under the earth." And the guy laughed and goes, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah, really." There's like a whole lake under there. What do you think? Bugsy Siegel just said, "Let's go build in the middle of the." There was no water. Let's pump a well.
Yeah.
No, he knew because of water rights, and he had friends in high places that could get him what he needed.
Mm-hmm.
He's part of the Kazark mafia. I mean, come on, dude. And so when they did, what they did, they were like, "Yeah, we can get you there, Bugsy, and we can turn it into the capital of sin and whatever." And there's aquifers, yeah, there you go. So give me your thoughts, your opinions on what you think this is. I mean, could this be really happening? Are they snatching people up at the border? And are they really? Is this really happening? In your opinions? I mean, what do y'all think?
Yeah, why not? I
Yeah.
mean, there's so many of them that they're it's easy pickings, you know. I mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, especially because it's like there's this perception like, oh, there's people who nobody will miss, you know, you just take them.
Yeah. And I think, and this is not, folks, we're going to get deeper into this eventually because this is not the first, or I don't think it will be the last ever of us getting stories of people on the border. I think it's happening. I have a friend who he's from Mexico, and he used to be a border patrol agent for Mexico down on the border with Guatemala. And they're real, like they shoot the Guatemalans. Okay. They absolutely do. They don't play around. They don't like, oh, we're going to deport you, whatever. And at one point there was a mass of them who had all ran up to the wall where he was working. And he looked down and he saw, and this is what he said. Okay. This guy's name's Jorge. I mean, I've known this guy for a long time. And he worked for a very large construction company that we used to work for, and we've worked for a few. And I think Anthony probably knew him. He was a foreman at Rowe.
Mm-hmm.
I think you probably knew him. But he also worked at Brackenridge. So, what was the other one up the hill? The one that we met, what's his name at? The one up the hill from Brackenridge. Started with a B too. That's the one we met. Javi, what's his name? Jerry. Jerry Hernandez.
I thought that was down in South Austin.
It is South Austin, but right north of
okay.
Brackenridge.
Yeah, Brackenridge was down south.
And the other one was right
Colorado Crossing.
No. Nope. That was the one that was in Del Valle. No, by the airport.
Yeah.
Mansion?
No, it started with a B. Y'all worked there once twice. Tony, text Tony, ask him. He'll know because he worked both of those. Because me and D worked the
Brown?
one side.
No.
Brown's the current one. That's not. But anyway, he worked there, and I remember we had a conversation one night because we were talking about the coyotes being huge or whatever.
Berkshire.
No.
Okay.
But anyway, it started with a B. I can't remember the name of it. Dang it! It's gonna drive me nuts. Anyway, we worked security there, and it was the one where Tony saw the woman, the ghost lady, whatever it was. Tony saw that, and there were these coyotes that were just gigantic. I think they were coy wolves. And I was working out on the side of my truck, and they ran right up to me, and they were big. I mean, big bastards. I took a picture of one, and I put it on my Facebook, and people were like, that's a wolf. And I was like, no, it's actually a very large coyote. Nellie was shocked because the coyotes in California are not nearly as big. They are humongous here. The coyotes here get big. I mean, you would look at them, and you'd be like, there's no way that's a coyote. Yeah, they're coyotes, and they're big. And if they're in a pack, they're not scared of you. Okay. Like some places they're like, oh, coyotes are scared of people. They might be scared of somebody my size, you know, because you're bigger, but a little small person, they're not going to be afraid, dude. I mean, they'll come up to people's yards and snarl and growl at people's kids and stuff, dude. And they'll snatch up your pets. I'm just telling you, it's the truth. But this place that we were working at, Jorge, he was a assistant supervisor. And he was literally telling me he used to be a border patrol agent. This was years ago when he told me this. When did we have that site? Probably 2015 or 14, something like that.
Yeah.
That particular one. We had it from 2013, I think, to 15 or 16, something like that, right before I met Nellie. And then we still had the one at Rowe where me and Nellie worked. And he got transferred over there when the one part ended. It was divided into two parts. It was like, that's where I met Jerry Hernandez. That was a fateful meeting. And the north side of that one, and then the south side of that one. The south side of that one was called Brackenridge. I can't remember what the north side of it was. It started with a B. But anyway, he told me, he says, dude, I worked there. And when me and Jerry were talking, Bradshaw, there you go. Thank you, Bradshaw Crossing. Whenever we were working at Bradshaw, right? He told me and Jerry were talking, and he says, dude, he says, call me. I'll tell you about what happened when I was at Border Patrol, right? So I've been saving this one for like I was going to do a show just about weird stuff on the border, which I still can because we got about 30, 40 stories out of there. And this one I fielded myself, and I talked to him. And what he said to me was when he was at Border Patrol and he was on the wall, they have walls with turret guns there. Okay. Mm-hmm. And Scorpion and D were with me when I interviewed this guy. They were right there. Tony might have been there too. We were all there. And you remember Garrett was working there? Mm-hmm. So he was there, and these people that were in charge, and we were talking about weird anomalous things, and stuff, because people, it wasn't just Tony. People were seeing ghosts over at Bradshaw and at Breckenridge. And I'll tell you why. Because when they started building out there, this has been years, I can tell you now, but they found bones. And once they figured out that they weren't natives, they were like, it's just some settlers. We don't care. Just throw them back in the ground. Let's build over them. The Kiowa got them and scalped them. They shouldn't have been here stealing their land with whiskey and wampum anyway. And you're like, how do you know that? Well, you know what? They're evil. We don't care. And so they just threw the bodies back on the ground, and then they just built over it. And the superintendents told me this. I mean, they were like, yeah, that's what happened. I didn't see this, and maybe the superintendents were just bullshitting me and full of shit. I don't know. They might have been lying, but I don't think they were, but they did. They told me that. They said that they had found bones and that it stopped work temporarily. And get this, which I think is wrong, but once they did the testing on them and it came back that they weren't native, so then all of a sudden these workers, and Tony was one of them, saw these like people dressed in like pioneer clothes with no, like sometimes they wouldn't have a head or they wouldn't have legs.
They deserve to be haunted for not respecting them.
Yeah, it was disrespectful
people
as hell.
too.
And then you tell us to go work out there? That's the worst part, me having to go out there. I didn't really care. Everybody else is seeing it. I'm like, my brother goes to the outhouse, what is it called? The portage, and he comes back, I saw a ghost. And I'm like, really? Well, you saw it. I'm eating the sandwich. Well, it sucks to be you. Was it scary? He's like, yeah. I'm like, damn. Oh, well.
Actually, I remember it happening just like that.
Exactly. I just go back to watching, reruns of, Who's the Boss or whatever the hell, whatever was on TV at that time. Barney Miller, good stuff. So I'm over there. And what happened? My brother went over there. Get this. This is a little ghost story, sidelight ghost story. He goes into the porta-john and he hears bang, bang, bang on the door. I heard it too. But it wasn't, we had the 2-man team at that time, and they were like, we need you guys to go to Estancia and check it every hour. And I'm like, that's a long ways on, whatever. And they were like, well, there's 2 of y'all. You got to do those 2 sites and Estancia. So there was 3 sites and 2 guys had to cover it. And I said, oh, yeah, that works out real good. Even if I leave him there, that place was so huge. So we just said, if we leave, he's leaving with me because Estancia was very wild. And there was a lot of theft going on the other side over there. And one guard being there by themselves to confront those people would be very dangerous. And I think it was an inside thing. So it's my opinion. And so one of our guards got held up. Okay. So we would have to drive back and forth. So I heard this banging on the porta-john, and this happened to my brother. And I was all like, what in the hell? Like, what is that? And so I thought it was him. Because you know how if something happens, the D gets mad, throws a fit, punches and kicks at inanimate objects. In fact, where are they at? Because we need them to moderate him and Scorp.
Interesting.
So you could text him, whatever. But anyways, he was in the porta-john, and there was a bang, like 3 bangs. And a couple of the people that worked there, we got to know a few of the superintendents and the foremen, and we got close with them because we worked with them all the time, And I was like, the porta-john was kind of behind my truck and further, back. And I heard it. So when he got out, he comes and he goes, well, dude, why did you have to bang on the door to go to the port? I was like, what are you talking about? And he goes, there's another porta-john. Well, he's all snarky with me. I'm sitting there watching TV on the little TV thing I had. And I was like, I said, dude, I didn't bang on it. I thought that was you. You were kicking it or something. He goes, that wasn't you? I said, no, it wasn't me. Oh, then we were both like, oh, shit. Like, what was it? And it was like, a week from when Tony saw what he saw down at the south part of the property. And I was like,
Tony said it looked like the Grudge.
yeah, the girl, yeah, he said that. And so my brother and me saw something really weird one time when we were driving from there to Estancia. We saw something with a giant rat-like tail. I told you that.
Yeah.
And it went into the woods, and I was like, whoa, what the hell? And we stopped, and we shot our flashlights, and my brother even got out and like went up to the edge of the woods, and I pulled up, and I stopped, and then he was already kind of there looking, and I said, dude, if that is, it was humongous.
I remember that because you've told me that story about that guy with the giant rat, the 4-foot rat.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Yeah, and so we never knew what that was or whatever. And then one time we saw the reeds kind of moving like something had gone into them, and there was nothing making it happen. So that was weird too. There was some weird stuff that we saw, some weird stuff. And then the area we had to go to, it was about 2 or 3 miles from Elroy. And what's up, Scorp? Scorp's here now. Finally, what are you doing, Scorp? You just left us hanging. And Scorp and I have a mutual friend. His name's Kenny. Used to live out there. And then we have another friend named Michael that lived out there. And they saw weird stuff like Bigfoot type creatures out there. Okay. I'm going to get Kenny to come on and talk about it. Scorpion used to go out there and hang out with Kenny all the time. But where Kenny and them lived down the road we had to go would have been just south of where we were driving. And so one day we were driving by the landfill. And Dee was like, can you imagine like what kind of animals are living out there in the landfill? And right when he says that, we see this humongous, I mean, it was a coyote, but it was humongous, and it was carrying some trash in his mouth. And I was like, oh, and I almost hit it, and it ran across the road. And Dee was like, whoa, was that a wolf? And I was like, no, it was a coyote, but the coyotes are huge. I mean, they look like wolves, but you can tell they're coyotes.
Yeah.
And then there's coy wolves too, but the coyotes themselves are big, very big. So yeah, it gets kind of dicey out there. You're like out in the middle of nowhere. And yeah, I would not want to be broken down in that area at all, because there's just too much weird anomalies out there. Now, me, Anthony, and Nellie the other night, we had to get another key made for the truck. My new truck, you mean my used truck? Anyways, we had to get a key made. And the guy that got the key made, shout out to him. What was his name again? Zach. Get this. Zach Black.
Oh, yeah.
No joke. That's his name. Zach Black. He's got a key making service, so he can take your key fob, whatever kind it is, he can take it and duplicate it. Really good. He does a good job. But he was a really cool dude. He's a musician. So shout out to Zach Black. Nice guy. And so we started talking, and he says, dude, I lived in Hawaii for years. He goes, I come here. His family's originally from here, but his dad, I guess, military, they'd moved around or whatever. And he's like us. His mother's Hispanic, his dad's white. But he said, dude, he's like, man, there is some weird ass stuff here in Central Texas. He's like, dude, this is like a hotbed of weird shit. Like, he was saying that to us because he's had customers who've told him weird stories and stuff. And so, yeah, we talked to him. He's a pretty cool guy. And we got to know him or whatever. So, if you're ever in if you live in the Austin area, you ever need a key made or something, that guy, really good job. And he was a fun guy to talk to. He knew a lot.
And he'll go to you.
History buff.
And he'll go to, he's mobile.
He's mobile. Yeah, he'll go to you. Yeah. We went to him because we were going to be down in South Austin anyway, because we had to go and keep an eye on Maddie and Kiem and Caitlin down there doing stuff, not doing the job. So, no, they're good guards. They're good kids. Kiem's like, is it okay if I did this with my right hand or if I do my left? Doesn't matter. Just go, do the D-Tex. Okay. Can I do it at 8:01 if I'm late? I'm like, oh my gosh. He's like SpongeBob, but an Indian version of him. Like, Mr. Krabs. He calls for everything.
Yeah.
My shoe was untied on camera. Is that going to be a problem? I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then if you call him, am I in trouble?
Yeah.
Like, what if I called you and be like, hey, boy, you're in trouble. What are you doing? You know? But I get it. He's worried about his job. That's good. I'd rather it be that than some just a derelict of duty, you know? But so what ended up happening with this weird, you know, stuff on the border, this guy, he tells us this wild story. It was me and my brother and Scorpio. I know they were both there. And I know I'm glad they're in the chat now, and I know they remember this. And we were talking with one of the superintendents, and then we were talking to two of the people from the Hernandez Ranch. And we were all there. And Jorge says, hey, I'm going to call you. I'm going to tell you about what happened. So then he leaves, but then Jerry's brother, Ruben, or not, what did we, I probably said his name. He was supposed to be on the show. For the show is Robbie. We called him Robbie. Okay, I already messed up. Sorry, I said his name, right? His real name is Ruben, right? I just blurted that out. Okay, that was stupid. Let me hypnotize the audience. You did not hear that. His real name is Robbie.
Yeah, put some of that devil magic
Men in
on
Black
it.
them.
Well, you know what's funny is that his own family, after I started calling him Robbie because I gave him pseudonyms, they started calling him that. And he would roll his eyes, and I'd be like, hey, man, your name's Robbie now. Well, anyway, it's right. Your name's Ruben. Whatever.
Focus on the red light.
So, sorry about that, Ruben. I mean, it's been so long now. Who cares? I mean, you know, hopefully nobody's going to, you know, he don't even live out there anymore. There's only two of them living out there. But why am I holding this? Take it back. So Ruben, he was standing there and they were teasing him. They were kind of joking, and they were like, we're all going to take off and you're going to have to work here by yourself or whatever. He's like, I'm not working out here by myself at night. No way. And so he's like, when he tells that story, you know, when he's like talking about it, whatever, Ruben was there, and they were joking around about, you know, him having that experience, you know, on the 4-wheeler, whatever. And I had not gotten to that part of the story yet. And I said, hey, you know, meet me over at Estancia because I'll be there on Friday. And this was like on a Wednesday or something. So then I get the call from Jorge the next day, and I was at work, and it was hot as hell, summertime. And I remember him telling me, he's like, hey, man, okay, so I'm going to tell you what happened. And he's like, I'm not far away. There was another site that was down the road. And he goes, when I get out of there, I'll just drop by and talk to you. So he stood there talking to me for about 2 hours. And we talked about all kinds of stuff. His grandfather had this, what he believes was a chupacabra. And not those dog-like looking ones, but the reptilian ones. And so he said that when he was working as a border patrol on the and get this, it's a dangerous ass job. You had MS-13 and everybody else coming through there, and they would shoot and kill those Mexican agents all the time. And he said, dude, I'm making more now as a foreman working for, you know, these guys than I did risking my life down the border of Mexico. And he's not from there. He was from Tamaulipas, whatever, but he was working down the border, down in the Yucatan. And he said it was a nightmare. And one time it was during the Guatemalan Civil War, so they would have these people that would rush the wall, whatever. And so they thought that's what it was. It was this big, like, group of them, and they were banging on the wall. And even though they were taking pot shots at them, you know, they were shooting these people. They were determined to just stay there by the wall, begging for help. He sees these 3 large creatures come out of the jungle, the woods, whatever. And they had dog-like faces. He said they were wolf-like creatures, dude. And he goes, I saw this with my own eyes. He's like, I witnessed them go up to the wall and grab these people and pull them back into the jungle. And he's like, he goes, I'll never forget it. One of them was like a teenager, and I'm going to say this, he was unalived right before his eyes by one of these wolf-like creatures that bit him on the head. And he said that one of the bosses, his higher-ups, his captain told him, he says, you're going to see a lot of weird stuff. He goes, it comes out of that jungle. He's like, these people, these refugees, whatever, they're not just running away from the war. They're running away from all that crap down there. He goes, we never leave the wall. We never go into that area, you know, to pursue nothing. We don't help them. We don't do anything. His opinion of what he told Jorge and what he, and my, like I said, my brother and Scorpio were there. And his opinion was that these things were some sort of like thing that was created by their military to kill these people. So that's what he believed, but I don't think that's what they were. I think they, like I've said before, they were probably like inner earth beings. And you'll have these reports of reptilians, and they'll be in the same vicinity as these dogmen. Why is that? And get this. Why is it that there'll be, okay, like the Seven Sisters Road story? Text that to me so we can tell that one on. Nelly, you can text it to me. It's just right underneath my notes for Gwen and all them. I'm going to tell you a story from Seven Sisters Road. Haunted as hell, but they see Dogman there too. Look it up. These people, these hunters, they'll go out there and they'll see these werewolf-looking creatures. Same thing as Devil's Backbone. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Martin Gross. I have no problem with the guy, but he wrote a book called The Devil's Backbone, which confuses everybody because that's Devil's Backbone from the LBL, not the Devil's Backbone from here in Texas. So when I talk about the Devil's Backbone, I'm not talking about the amusement park that has become, the LBL has become. All right. I'm not talking about Martin Gross. He's not the main one. That's the circus leader out there. It's another one. Y'all know who he is. But Martin wrote a book. I don't know anything about it. I don't know if it's good, if it's bad. I have no idea. Okay. And I have no issues with Martin. But he wrote a book called The Devil's Backbone, and it's about stuff in the LBL, not here in Central Texas. The LBL here, or the LBL here, the Devil's Backbone here in Central Texas, full of stories, dude. I mean, it was on Unsolved Mysteries. I mean, and it's Confederate.
Burt Wall wrote some books about it.
Confederate soldiers, Goatman, I mean, Dogman. It's crazy stuff that's going on out there. Me and my brother made a map years ago with blue and red pens to, they connotate, the Dogman, the Bigfoot, different sightings. One of the things that I can say 100% is if you go out into the woods out there, it's unnerving to say the least, especially the Haunted Valley. I would not stay out there by myself. I just wouldn't.
The ghost that was hitchhiking?
Yeah, the hitchhiker ghost. Yeah. We need to write. My brother's actually writing, and he's going to write a story about that. Not a story about it, but he's going to do a mock-up about it, or what would you call it? He's going to write it.
Just write
an essay on it, or I don't know. I was trying to sound sophisticated. I guess it failed. But at least I didn't poop my pants. But no, we were talking the other night, us three, and we were talking about how in Giddings, those ranchers were seeing like this I say gugly because I don't know what to call it. Like it's like a gorilla wolf-like thing, right? So there's that. They're Giddings and Brenham. And then in the other side of Brenham, there's these really ugly Bigfoot type creatures. Thorndale has those Bigfoot with the gray ashen faces. Taylor has the Dogman encounters. And I'm not gonna lie, where we're at now, people see them. Hopefully we don't run into them, but I'm not gonna live my life in fear. I just carry my AK-47 everywhere I go. My AR-15. Come on now, you remember the AR-15? What's up? You want to do that? You want to do this? Huh? You walk with it strapped to your back to go inside to get some coffee. You're like, what? I can't carry my AR-15? What's wrong with carrying an AR-15? There's Dogman out here everywhere. Ain't you worried about Dogman? I'll go to AR-15. Sir, it's not that. It's that you have a bandolier of grenades. The AR-15 is part of it, and you're holding a pistol and you're waving it around, and on the other hand, you have an AK-47. I'm like, I want to stay safe. Well, okay, sir, but it's 2 p.m. Okay, there's people everywhere. You don't know; they could be werewolves. The hell's wrong with you? Now I want some lottery tickets. Put my guns down. You promise not to touch them. My wallet. I got those guns fair and square at the 7-Eleven when I was 18. All right. So
One of
didn't-
them one of them at the carnival.
I didn't at the carnival. I didn't have enough money, but I had some flan and a couple of Garth Brooks ticket stubs. One of them was halfway signed, but it was ripped. So I went ahead and gave them that. On the off chance that he really is a serial killer, go look it up. We just went ahead and just, they took it as a trade, and I was able to get all my guns. That's what people think is going on in Texas, anyway, right? And then you get in your big truck and you're like, "Woo! Yeah, time to shoot everything in sight."
They go around shooting stuff.
There's a sign. Let me throw a grenade. Boom! No more stop sign. I ain't got to alto now. We just keep going. Right. Hook them hard. Right. That's what they think is going on down here. All right, we just walk around with a bandolier of grenades. And they're like, well, that's not happening. You have a very large Latino population, too. Yes, they wear the bandoliers and with the big hats. I'm mixed, so I wear a medium-sized hat. That's what's happening down here in Texas. I'm just saying in Big Tejas down here. It's crazy. It's nuts. No, but for real, like each one of these towns, it seems like they have their own like weird demonic thing mascot going on, because Maynard has Wilbarger Bridge, and from there to New Sweden you have these reports of Goatman. Like literally Loki saw one, so you have like these Goatman reports all over Maynard, but you get some Dogman stuff there too. One of them Linda Godfrey had in her book. And there was a guy on some paranormal show years ago that claimed to have seen both. And then you have, different things going on down in Beaumont. You have the Black Panther people, and then of course the little Noack triangle area. I did look it up. It is kind of like a triangle. You have the Black Panther people on the other side of 79, if that's to be believed. And then Goatman, Dogman, and they're all kind of their own little areas, Each town has its own thing. We are going to do an investigation in Granger. Now, we stopped and talked to 3 young men yesterday, close to where I used to live. And they started telling me some right, Nellie?
Yep.
It was crazy. They started telling me some very interesting stuff. One of them's uncle has a deer lease out in Georgetown, and he told him, he's like, don't ever go out there without a gun, ever.
And his grandpa saw something.
I'm sorry, what was that?
His grandpa saw something.
Mm-hmm.
They warned him not to go out there.
Yep. And we just stopped to talk to them, and they had Christmas lights all over their truck.
It was nice. It was
cool.
cool.
Pretty cool. They were young guys. They were pretty cool.
They offered to put some on yours.
Yeah, I didn't ask permission if I could use their names, but they lived right there in Taylor, and so we stopped and I talked to them because those woods right there. Now, when I was a kid, me and my friend Keith Bell and a couple of other friends of mine, my friend Jeff Martin and Jacob Martin, we were all walking, and we saw something black run across the road. Now, knowing what I know now, it looked like a shadow, but Jacob Martin, I believe, he said that it looked wolf-like. And now you look back on it, I didn't put 2 and 2 together, but I just saw a shadow. And it came up because when me and Nellie were driving, when me and my friend Randy Chakowski were riding our skateboards one time over there by my friend's, one of our friend's girlfriend's grandfather's house right there on Lake Drive, we saw this shadow go across the road. So it's not like something the Taylor seems like there's a lot of it, right? But Nellie saw it, and she was like, whoa, what was that? And I said, well, probably a shadow being or something, because that area, you see them moving around all the time, like you do. So I took her to where there's some woods that have never been cleared. They've never been able to clear them for whatever reason. And it's right off of Jason Street in Taylor. Okay. And those woods are haunted. I've walked through there to go to my friend James Kahanik's house, my friend Jeff Martin's house, and I've heard weird noises. I can't remember exactly what, but when I was a kid, I was walking and I thought I saw a pair of feet, like next to me. And I just kept walking and pretending like I didn't see it. So you have these people that were standing outside, these guys, and we started talking to them. They looked like they were probably in their late teens, early 20s. And I told them what we were doing because they were looking at us like, what are y'all doing? You know, I said, look, we're looking at these woods over here because I was telling my wife where we saw this thing black run across the road when I was like 11. And I just thought it was like a shadow being. But when Jacob said it looked like it was wolf-like, you know, I didn't see that. So I'm not going to lie and say it was a Dogman or whatever. But think about it, though. If it was wolf-like and these things really, because I didn't believe that they were anything other than flesh and blood, which I do now.
Shadow Wolfman.
Yeah. So then you wonder, like, I mean, you know, what was that like the prelude to what I saw a few years later, which would have been 4 years later as a very young man? I don't know. And I wonder how many people see these things and just think nothing of it. It's just like, or you see them in the corner of your eye. You know, it's just like, it's just there. You know, and I think that we also have a tendency to put everything in the realm of like, oh, it's just stories, superstition. People are superstitious. They believe this stuff is real. It's not, you know, no, it is. This stuff really happens. And I think that keymaker guy was right. This Central Texas is a hotbed of weird shit. We've been living here our whole lives, even though I've left, you know, and come back. I've been to other parts of the country. I've been all over this country, and except for the Northeast, the far Northeast. But I've been everywhere, and I've been all over the world. And it's weird. There's weird stuff everywhere. But in here in particular, it's really weird. It's an inordinately large amount the whole area is full of it. You don't have to go far. And I took Linda Godfrey's advice years ago. She told me and Tony on air, I believe it was, she was like, hey, you don't have to go all over the world looking for this stuff. Start in your own backyard. That's where it's at. So she was right. So anyways, I believe that these things are there. They're, you know, if the stories are to be believed about the border patrols and you know, all these, I mean, who's to say, you know, that they're wrong? I know I'm not qualified to tell you you're a liar because of what you told me you saw. And I'm not going to do that. Now, there's some people that think that they know so much that they'll, and one of them, he's a colleague, but he'll be the first to tell you, oh, you're full of shit. And I love Ken Gerhardt, but he won't tell you that, but he'll be like, you know, because he wants to believe it's flesh and blood. And I know why. Ken, we love you, but he's scared of the paranormal. He is. It unnerves him. There's a lot of people that it unnerves them. You know, and him, a researcher, a very serious researcher when it comes to the cryptid world.
It's an unnerving subject.
Yeah, they don't want nothing to do with that spiritual side of it. I don't blame them. You know, they just, there's some people that they see things, they didn't want to talk about it. And you got to hound them and hound them and hound them and then threaten them and finally they'll cut. And then you're like, why'd you make me do this to you? And they're just like, can you untie me from this chair? I'm like, you promise not to tell the police? Okay. I just need the story for my show. I don't know why you're freaking out, man. You know. And then I untied my mom and I was like, look, don't make me do it again, Mom. All right. I'm just saying. Like, you know, just because you're my mom, I mean you got privileges. So anyways, folks, let's do the giveaway. Oh, that hurt my elbow.
Okay.
Oh boy. Let's do the giveaway. So if your name is in green, that means you are a member. And if it's not in green, that means you don't give a shit about us and you're just here mooching off of us, trying to get stories you can run back to your channel and use them, you little turds. You better not. I'll sue you.
Or at the very least, you need to hit that like button.
Don't make me sue you. I'm a sewer. I started with nothing and I sued my way to the top.
I con them and I sue them. They call me a connoisseur.
Seriously. So right now, I'll give you a chance if you want to be entered into the giveaway. Green. Turn your thing green. How you do that? Buy a membership. So we'll give you a couple minutes here. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to try and actually send out shirts that are of these kind. Now, how Tony missed that with 2 huge boxes, and when I told him use those new camo shirts, I don't know. How did he do this? I have no idea.
With his eyes closed, apparently.
Or his eyes like, oh, I have no idea what's going on. Pretty sure that's what it was. He was like Tally over there. All right, so, oh, look at that. Tito coming through like always. Awesome person. What do we got here? So tell me now if you have Jules Spiteri's real quick. She's like, I haven't won yet. And you're green. There you go. That's our first winner right there. We got 2 more we're going to give away. And we're going to do it again on Sunday. Jules, are you in Australia? Well, like I said, we'll split the shipping with you. See how much it is if you're willing. And since, Jules, if you're in Australia, okay, we might as well throw some other stuff in there because it's hard to get.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to cost you the same as a ship of shirt as if we threw a hat in there too or whatever.
Yeah.
So we'll throw you a shirt and a book. How about that? Since you're from Australia. But you're going to have to help us with the shipping. Just meet us halfway. My days on the 28th. What is that? Jai Siva band. What is that? Cuban. What is it?
Pick him.
Maybe it means Cuban. Let's see.
So anyway, do y'all want to pick that person?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's pick him, and someone else before
Happy
him said
birthday.
that
Did
they
you
didn't.
just assume her
They didn't win.
pronouns?
What's your pronouns?
Okay, pick it. She, him,
Pick it.
him,
Pick
Jim.
a charge.
Jai, Cuban, Shim, he, her.
This is Cuban.
It's a Cuban, not that long, man. What's wrong with you? Or it said that.
From Cuba, man.
I'm from Cuba.
Puro cubano, man. What is
We help.
What's wrong
Oh,
with you?
86.
That's
Did we
weird,
ever send
man.
him
I'm not
something?
a girl. I'm a boy, man.
86 is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's one.
86. Did you win before?
Okay, there's another one. Blade 1483.
Yeah, him too.
We'll pick you too. So we got Jai Cuban, Blade 148111, whatever that is, and Jules Spiteri. Jules Spiteri. You're good, kid. Real good. See? But as long as I'm around, you'll never be a big giant headed
Pumpkin pie head.
pumpkin
freak.
pie haircut freak of a host of a paranormal show. She's like, thank goodness. Weird ass dude. So identify as a conspiracy theorist. That's pretty good. Jamie Johnson says, I'm here. I'm sorry I can't get a membership yet. Well, Jamie, you know what? You win too. Okay. Well, even though you didn't follow the rules and you're wrong for that. I'm putting you on the spot here. I'm joking, Jamie. Seriously, if you send me your email, I'll send you something. How about that? So, guys, everybody that won, send us your email on the Josh Turner PRTpodcast.com and send it to us and give us your address, your blood type, your date, your social security number, one of your credit card numbers. In fact, give us all of them.
Yeah.
And we'll take real good care of it. See? Yeah, that's what we'll do.
And the password to your bank account.
Because when I wear my hat like this and got the gold chain, you could trust me, right? I put my grill in.
Yeah.
Oh, yo, send me that. You know what I'm saying? It's tight, yo. Face you could hit all day when they look like that.
That's the
right?
guy with whom you want to do business.
I want to do business with them. I want to hit them and rob them.
It's more of a one-sided business, but
David Buckles. What is that, Dave? He says, not too big, not too small, about the size of a basketball. What is it? The size of the basketball, that's my brother's belly. Okay, he's competing with Truffles to see who can. My brother's at the house going like, "Wow, what are you talking about?" He's getting all mad. You can't do nothing. Your foot's all messed up. You can't do nothing. What are you gonna do? I'm kidding, D. I'm kidding. All right, just joking with you. So what we have coming up Sunday, we're going to talk about some more stuff. We'll give you the Seven Sisters Road story, and we'll continue. We have another story about the Reptilians and the Dogman, and we'll just continue it then. Right? Two Shadows. Thank you for that. Thank you for that donation. We appreciate everybody who donated. Buzz with the Houston Rockets jersey. Hey, I like the Houston Rockets, but yeah, you're right. You know, there was a guy who, when we were going to the Astros game, I don't know if y'all remember it was all of us, and we were with either Scorpion or Tony or somebody. And so we were, and the guy was trying to tell us to park, and Nelly was like, "Oh, look, he's trying to." I was like, "Look at that dude! I'm not giving that guy money to park. He's over there just like, you know, looking like he was pretending, you know, like."
He's not even a valet. He
Yeah,
just wants to kill
exactly.
people's
Don't be a menace
vehicles.
to South Central. I'll drink your gin and juice in the
Yeah.
hood. That was him. I'm sitting there going like, I'm not paying this guy. And he's like, "Hey, man, I got these cheeseburgers, man. You can park over here." I'm like, "Dude, get the hell out of here with this. Your pants are hanging off your body." I said, "Do you work here?" "Oh, yeah, sure you do. Sure you do." And then you're going to take our money and we'll come back and we'll be towed. So, yeah, he actually had a Houston Rockets jersey on. So, it was, yeah, I mean, I guess it does happen. Houston Rockets jerseys can be not nice people. But I'm going to get one for Christmas, and I'm going to wear it and show you that we can be good people. Bloods are people, too. Okay, I'm not a blood. I'm actually a blood and a crypt. I know you're supposed to only have a membership to one streaming service from them, but I like both because I like blue and red, so I pay dues to both. And they were like, since you're a podcast, we'll let you slide. So, yeah. I called the crypt president, and I'm like, hey, let it rain, let it drip, get a loan from a crypt. What's up? You gonna let me do it? And they said, yeah, we'll let you make it. And I called the blood, and I was like, it's all good, blood in the hood. What's up, fool? And they said, you know what? We're gonna let you make it. And so there you go. That's all you do. You gotta talk to people. You guys just talk to people. Network. Right? Talk to the Hells Angels. See what's good, right? You know, just say what's up, you know, and they'll let you make it. Right? So somebody says purple is my color. You know, there was a game called the Purple Slushies. They tried to recruit me. I was like, I'm just not feeling it. It was the color. I'm not a Vikings fan. I'm not. They're like, this is jail, son. I'm like, I know. I have rights here too. I'm like, guards? You wait until they come. You're in big trouble, buddy. Trying to make me wear purple. So, anyways, folks, that's it for tonight. Thank you for tuning in. We had a great time. I hope we had a good time. Do we have a good time? I think we did.
I did.
And we got 4 winners there, okay? So, Jamie Johnson, I know you said you couldn't afford it right now. He says, congrats to the winner. You're a winner too, Jamie. So, send us your
Shirt
size
address.
And your mailing address.
and your mailing address. Busters.
And the email address that you want to send that to is scrolling at the bottom of the screen.
He
so.
says, oh my gosh, thanks. I finally win. Well, with us, everybody wins. Being able to look at this for 2 hours and 28 minutes. Oh. You know, like Andy was just sitting over there like John Goodman on The Big Lebowski. I have to take care of this guy. Someone's got to stop his big fat head. I hate him. I hate this guy. I hate Wolf, and I hate when people do it around me. Got to end it. Got to stop it. You're like, dude, knock it off. All right. I'm just here having a good time. Right? Because I'm a gangster having fun. Strapped with my gat when I'm walking through Austin. Right?
It's funny.
I hate when I have fun. They get so mad. They're like, oh, Big Wolf ruins everything. Oh, he makes me mad. You're like, these people have derangement syndrome, folks. Pretty soon they're going to be doing the same thing that the people that lost are going to be on there with their steering wheels. You know, having ground wall seizures. Like, come on, dude. Calm down. All right? You're mad. I get it. You're mad. You're pissed off that I'm here dropping it like it's hot. Giving away merch, you know, begging for money.
Right here.
Make sure you send your info, Jamie, to the email address at the screen at the bottom of the screen.
All right, y'all want to say goodbye?
Right by the
All right.
kitchen.
See y'all later.
guys.
Congratulations to the winners. We'll see y'all again.
Thank you
I
to
don't know,
everyone
whenever
who
we see y'all.
donated.
Soon.
Yeah, thank you to everyone who donated. Thank y'all for being
Thank
here. Heck, we had like what, 550 something people.
I don't know. I don't look
Yeah.
at
And
the
between
numbers.
500 and 600 people all here who are consistently here. So thank you.
Yeah.
It's like the biggest live stream, like on the community.
We have the biggest live stream on the community.
In the community.
Are we on the community?
Whatever.
I don't think that's true. We're not on the community.
Well, I don't think a lot of things
In
are
the
true.
community.
Oh, you mean in the community? I was wondering because
Yes.
you were totally off what you were saying. I was confused. I was like, what in the hell is he talking about? I mean, I'm
Okay.
just saying, you're a very strange little, weird little man.
Oh, yeah. How about that? How about
What? What is this? Is this your god? Are you a worshiper of this thing?
That's
Are
one.
this
That's one of them anal.
idol?
Nakis.
Is it an idol?
That's one of the anal nakis.
Is this an American Idol? Okay, folks. Dude, like, okay, I almost got my eye plucked out or put out by a 3-year-old the other day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I picked up my cousin's little child, which I guess he's technically my cousin, but I picked him up because he was throwing pecans at me. And I picked him up and he threw him over his shoulder at me and got me in both eyes. I was like, ah! So I had to set Coda down. I was like, I'm blind. It was his fault, the 3-year-old. You know, I was trying to get him spanked. It didn't work. I was like, damn it. No, I'm kidding. He's a good kid. He's just having fun, man. But literally, he hit me in both eyes, like bang. A little tough little kid. But anyways, folks, thank you for tuning in. We had a great time, and we'll be here again on Sunday. Sunday, we're going to do it all over again. It's going to be bigger, better, always. It's always better. Okay? Anyways, thank you for listening, and good night.
Good night, everyone. That's like a bad Milo.